My name is James Bridgeforth, and I'm a very young and successful investor. And in this video, I'm about to share with you the exact wake-up call that I needed to start taking my financial future more seriously. The first thing I want to touch on is how President Trump has just announced the Big Beautiful Bill. If you aren't familiar with what this is, the Big Beautiful Bill has many great things in it, such as tax cuts. But one thing I want to discuss is how it's actually going to add $2 trillion worth of debt to the United States total debt. And some of you may be watching this and not understand exactly what that means. But the ones who have watched my previous video will understand the exact problem that this raises. See, the major problem with this is that when you have an increase in the currency supply, this causes everybody's dollar to be deflated. And when you have somebody's dollar that's slowly going down over time, you're actually being stolen from. So let's say one morning everybody woke up and they saw in their bank account, or out of all the money that they owned, that they just lost 7% of their money. Everybody would riot. Everybody would be on the streets protesting. But since our money is being stolen through inflation, a way where many people are uneducated and not able to spot that our money is being stolen, then everybody just sits back and doesn't do anything. Where you were raised in an inflationary system, where you were taught that this is something that is normal, and I'm here to tell you that it's not. We live in a free market, and the natural state of a free market is actually deflationary. Goods should actually be getting cheaper. So let's take, for example, this. The only sector in a free market that sort of applies to a deflationary natural state is actually going to be technology. You have TV companies that are very competitive with one another, and they come out with new TVs year in year. They even started to implement AI into TVs. And you'll notice that these TVs are getting better and better, but the cost of TVs are starting to go lower. That's because that's the natural state of a free market. When you have more competition, the competitors are reaching to produce the best product at the lowest price for their consumers. That's the natural state of a free market. But we grew up with this mindset, and we were brainwashed to think that the natural state of a free market is inflationary. Goods should not be getting more expensive. There's no reason why, when I was growing up, I was able to go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger or a whole meal for $1. That same meal now will cost me $15. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the politicians, the governors, the president, whoever it is, they're constantly passing more bills. And when they pass these bills and they're promising free things to the citizens, or even when they have tax cuts, just think of it this way. Where are they getting the money to fund all of this? They're getting the money because they're constantly printing more money, which is slowly stealing wealth from you. See, let's say you have a basket of money. You have $100,000. If they continue to increase the currency supply by $2 trillion, your 100,000 is out of a lot more money than it was before. So it's not as rare, it's not as valuable. You have a less piece of the pie than you had before, and you're starting to lose your money. But because they're doing it through inflation, many people are oblivious to this because they don't have the simple knowledge to identify it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this has to be a wake-up call for you. It's not a suggestion. This isn't something that I'm recommending, but I'm telling you, you need to start investing your money into an asset that will give you more or beat out inflation. Because I'm sorry, as sad as it sounds, if you're not beating out inflation, you're getting poorer. And I'm saying this because this is something that I genuinely care about, and I want to help everybody out, because I sit back and I watch people spend useless amounts of money on things that don't matter, on people that they're trying to impress who don't really care about them. And I'm trying to tell you that that's not the way to go. You will slowly start to see yourself getting poorer and poorer at a much quicker rate than you would have before, because the government's stealing from you and you're distracting yourself with useless items. So I'm here to tell you that this is just a wake-up call for you, that you need to start investing your money. See, the United States hasn't lost a war in the last 20th century. And I'm saying this because this has allowed the US to be the global capital of the world for a monetary system. So if you don't know, but every single currency outside of the US dollar is actually backed by the US dollar. So here's the US dollar, and every other currency is tied to it. So I'm trying to tell you that the US actually has the #1 currency in the world, but it's down 99.9% in value. So if you have the #1 currency, and this is #1, and it's down 99.9%, what do you think all the other currencies are doing? The United States has lost all its value in the dollar since it was first published. This is a major red flag. You have to understand that if you actually do the calculation, the dollar has actually inflated 7% each year. So let's say if you're not gaining more than 7% on your money every single year, you're getting poorer. just from inflation, just because the constant currency supply is slowly starting to increase. And I made this video because you need to send a full blitz into investing your money, putting it into the right assets, and starting to take control and care about things that actually matter. Because it's soon going to get to a point where there isn't going to be a middle class. The wealthier are going to continue to get wealthier, because the same way that we have inflation in our goods is the same way we have inflation in our assets. And the wealthy people understand, let me put my money in these assets. Let me let them grow. I understand that I need to beat inflation. So when I put my money in these assets, I'll get greater returns than I would have if I didn't. So the wealthy are storing their money in the right assets, but the poor are holding their money in the dollar. You're holding your money in a currency that's deflating. So the same way that I made the analogy earlier, if somebody stole 7% of your money, you'd be furious. But if the government does it through inflation, then you're not noticing. You don't care at all because you're not educated. So I'm here to tell you, now that you have the education and I'm telling you this information that many people won't tell you, I'm being fully transparent with you, because this bill was just passed and they've constantly been printing money, but they're actually going to expedite this process by printing even more money. This is deflating your currency at a much faster pace than it would have before, and you need to put your money into the right tools. So if you need to put it into a sound money. So let's say that you're holding the dollar. You want to put it in a money that isn't able to be manipulated or made more of. So let's say you put it into gold. Let's say you put it into silver. Let's say you put it into Bitcoin. You can put it into all of these assets and it'll store your value much better than any US currency. Or you could put your money into stocks. You can put your money into stocks and outperform the S&P 500 or the inflation rate, and you will be getting wealthier. But I'm letting you know, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. If your money doesn't go up over 7% a year, or you're not beating the S&P 500 or the inflation rate, you are getting poor. It's as simple as that, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, because a lot of people are looking at it like it's a risk to start investing. Well, let me tell you something. It's a risk to hold the US dollar. It's risky for you to be holding a dollar that's going down 7% a year, especially when it's going to get to a point where houses are becoming unaffordable. You want to take care of your family, but you're gaining more dollars. You probably got a raise at your job, but life is still hard. Life isn't going to get easier until you understand this key principle. It's going to come to a point where we may even reach hyperinflation. This causes many problems. See, I saw a quote the other day that said, you have the blue and then you have the red side. They're arguing. They're going back and forth over all these things that don't matter. But the major problem in our system is the monetary system. It's basically like the house is burning down and they're arguing over what color the curtain should be. This shouldn't be a problem in our system. You have to understand that the people that are making decisions are making them within the best intent for themselves. They're making it for the bankers. They're making it for the government officials. They're making it for the mayors, the presidents, whoever it may be. These are people with already millions and millions of dollars stored in the stock market, gold, Bitcoin, silver, whatever it may be. So they're comfortable with just printing more money because they're not the ones that are directly affected. But there are citizens and people just like you and I who are out here every single day working hard, using our time, resources, energy, everything we have just so we can receive a check to take care of our family. And while we're doing that, they're increasing the money supply, which is making you poorer. And I'm here to tell you that that is not right. If you're not increasing your money by 7% a year, you're getting poor. This isn't a suggestion. This is something that you need to do because we're in a system that is not benefiting us. Invest your money into the right assets. Understand everything that you need to do to take advantage of putting your money into these assets. Do what the rich do. There is no reason that the wealthy should be owning 90% of the money supply. This is a major problem. The wealth gap is slowly getting larger and larger. Soon we'll get to the point to where there isn't a middle class. It'll be straight black and white with no gray area. It will just be poor and wealthy. Now, which side do you want to be on? So if you watched this video and learned anything new, which I know most of you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll see you guys in the next video.